So I want to open up with my big question
Go for it.
because
You,
we're
so
getting we're getting to the point in the year. It's almost halfway through the fantasy football season, and you're either on top, middle of the pack. And my question is, if you're on that on top or middle of the pack, who do you need to trade for and get on your team to kind of secure that playoff run? Like who is a must trade for fantasy football league winner?
ooh, okay. So I love that how you
That's a
phrased
very.
it.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
loved how you phrased it because I have the inverse. But
Oh yeah,
as far,
yeah. You said we had similar questions. I'm like, no, I think we're good. But
so
I have my
man,
opinion, but I want to hear your guys's.
yeah, I'm gonna look through it. I'm actually concerned about San Francisco, Baltimore. I would say do not trade for a Baltimore player,
No,
because they get San Francisco and Miami during fantasy playoffs,
but
which
Miami gives up a lot of points to opposing teams.
so Miami for championship is possible, but actually let me go and see Baltimore's schedule
Because
real
it's
quick.
like what you said about Buffalo and me being concerned about ETN, but Buffalo gives up an insane amount of points to running
Yeah.
backs. So
So
it's like
so
there are
Mhm.
still viable options even in difficult real life matchups.
I got you. You know that makes sense. So they have a week 13 bye, so that's something to be a little bit wary of. They got the Rams week 14, Jacksonville week 15, San Francisco and Miami to close out the fantasy playoffs.
But
So
I'll take Jacksonville that week 15 matchup. I mean, San Francisco might be tough,
yeah,
but then at the end to close out against Miami, like if you want Lamar, I think that's a viable matchup.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, actually, I have my answer. It's Alvin Kamara.
That's who I'm
Yep.
thinking of. I was gonna say he's on my
Yep.
flex right now. It's Kamara because he's
Yeah.
just lighting it up in the Saints who can't do anything other than go through Kamara.
Yeah, so yeah, he and I don't know why they're not letting Derek Carr rest. And if I see Derek Carr start another game, it's abandoned ship on Olave.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah.
So that's my honest like feeling on it. And I love Olave. I thought Derek Carr would be very good with Olave. A hurt AC joint sprain Derek Carr is not good for Olave.
And
To the
Anthony
point
Richardson.
That's true. To the point where it's just put Jameson. Just please put Jameson.
Yeah.
But Kamara playoff schedule. Giants, Rams, Bucks. All three very winnable matchups there
Yeah. Yeah,
for
those are
Alvin
three
Kamara.
now. The other one's also on my team that I'm thinking of if you need more Tom Ryan.
Oh, I have one. I have one. Um, Now this may be a little controversial. He does have a ton of kind of tough matchups, but if you're looking for a rental this year, you want to win. Adam Thielen. Over the last 4 weeks, he has produced, absolutely produced. If he continues through the rest of this year at the production that he's at, I mean, and he's been fairly reliable when it comes to targets. And Adam Thielen, sure-handed. He gets the ball thrown his way 9 times out of 10, he's going to catch it. And he's been reliable. So
Yeah.
I will
I
say
I think that could, if this trend continues, he could end up being a top 10 wide receiver this year, which he already is right now.
Yeah.
I will say, I mean, I'm just looking at Thielen's stats right now. If he the lowest he's had was week 1, which is 2 targets, but since then
Yeah, but
9,
that was
14, 8,
But that was also
13.
yeah,
Bryce
that
trying
was
to figure
also
out
Yeah.
who
week
do I have.
one.
That's also week
Yeah,
1
that was
Bryce. So
week one.
no, but I'm saying I think the trajectory is upwards. Like he actually played the most snaps this past week against Detroit. So if that continues to go upwards, you have the bye week, week 7, and then playoff matchups. We're looking at Atlanta, Green Bay, Jacksonville. All three very good matchups, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to show up to the 10-year reunion in a nice Audi, Adam Thielen.
But it's like the Audi of his graduating class.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's a
You
nice
show
one.
up
It
in a
might win
10
you a
in a
championship.
10-year Audi.
The only thing is, if they trade for a wide receiver one, that might make it interesting. Like
I
I think even like a Hollywood Brown could mess things up. There's some other guys who could mess it up too, but
very
Yeah.
much could. I mean, Hollywood's actually even a good option in general, whether he gets traded or not. I was going to ask how y'all feel about the Texans option. So Tank Dell, Nico Collins, Damian Pierce. We're starting to see that offense click a little bit more. It should hopefully only get better. Their playoff schedule, however, is Tennessee, Cleveland, Tennessee.
that's not a bad schedule though. Tennessee is not the Tennessee of old.
Yeah. Your only
Mm.
issue is that you get the Jets week 14.
Even the Jets defense, I feel like hasn't been good. Like they just gave up a lot of points to the Broncos. Like Russ this past weekend and Jaleel were very fantasy viable. You didn't see it as much out of Cortland Sutton, but you'll get matchups against the Jets
No,
that you can.
Sauce is just a good matchup for Cortland Sutton, so I'm not too worried about that.
Yeah.
Um, but but yeah, it's that. I mean, literally, I actually, to be
I mean,
honest with you,
I think Jaleel's a trade for too at this point. Speaking of
Nico.
which,
Oh
Actually,
yeah, for sure.
I'm looking at the Texans schedule. Legitimately,